Hey, what's up, guys? It's Adam Galloway here, the composer for Gill, and yeah, I just wanted to go through and if you guys haven't seen the film, by the way, go check it out. Spoiler alert! I'm gonna show each scene and kind of break down the music from it, and in terms of the instrumentation, but also I might have some of the audio from the film playing as well, just because I want to explain where the film is and why there's certain music in certain places. So, without further ado, here we go. All right, so we got these sounds. I got water reflects light. So this is alchemy sound. Alchemy is a lot of what I use because it's really, really easy on the hardware, like the hard drive and like the CPU and stuff. But you get plenty of amazing sounds. Like these drone kind of soundscape sounds are perfect in here. So yeah, I mean, it started like right here, and I kind of just moved it over here, kind of tweak some stuff. That's kind of what I do with all these alchemy synths. And then we also have this one. Here comes the machines, based on the popular Pink Floyd song. Let's see. Yeah, so this one is another one where it started kind of like over here, and I kind of move it over and tweak it. So yeah, so this you kind of get the idea with this part in terms of what these sounds are like, and also this one sound here, sheets of metal. This is kind of supposed to, as the film progresses, you kind of hear this sound a lot during teleportation scenes. So scenes where she's teleporting, you kind of, if you've seen the movie Arrival, you know how there's that sound that you hear when you see the big ship. It's kind of like that. It's like it's not really a theme or anything. It's just kind of like a sound to kind of specify that there's teleportation happening at some point with someone. Because honestly, in that moment, you don't know. It's just sand. So there's. Let me go ahead and go back a little bit. So this is kind of where you hear that part. Before she teleports, you hear that sound. So that's kind of supposed to signify that a little bit. Right, so you're about to hear that sheet metal sound again when she teleports here. And then there's a new sound that comes in. And it's right here, the vocal cluster MOS, which I'll explain the MOS in a second. Okay, so this sound right here. Now, this sound right here reminds me of the Kryptonian sounds from Man of Steel. I don't know if you've never seen that. I don't know. Look it up. Just look up the like Kryptonian music from Man of Steel. Anything from like Man of Steel that's like quieter. It's kind of what this sound right here reminds me of. So, yeah, it's called vocal cluster, and it basically just sounds like this. Like, you know what I mean? Very very simple, but also a little bit like out of tune and a little otherworldly, I guess you could say. And then there's also this new part, Radiant Cosmos. Let's go over this.
Reckless. Yeah, no, I'm long gone.
Told you not to touch anything. I had it handled.
But yeah, it was either fry or do something about it.
And it's really quiet. That's one thing about this Radiant Cosmos. This is the only thing I'm playing right now. Listen to this.
Need I remind you?
It's like literally the sound of mist. If you had to, like, it's so quiet, So, anyways, that's pretty much that first little section there. Stylistically, it hasn't really changed very much. It's pretty much been atmospheric synths. In this scene right here, that's why you hear the music kind of lowering in pitch. It's because she falls here. Right here, she falls. Even the piano kind of stutters a bit there. Alright, so this is the first teleportation scene that we see in action. And the reason there's these drums here is because it's out of control. Before she was kind of like, she still had control of it here and there, but like now it's like she's teleporting like every few seconds. So in this scene, it's kind of, there's a lot going on for her because it's like every 3 seconds she's getting bumped to some new place. So the drums are really a big part in this section. We don't need to hear the film audio necessarily because it's mostly just her, doing that inhale exhale sound that you hear when she teleports. But I'm just going to go over some of the drums that we're using here. I call them the Zimmer drums. Obviously, just I'm sure you can guess if you if you know film composers who I'm referring to. I could say Junkie XL too, but yeah. So yeah, let's play that. And I use the Action Strikes drums from Contact. So use a 3/4 rhythm here, and it's kind of just it's kind of one of those you just hold the keyboard and it plays it, but then you can kind of add in some new variations with new keys. So there's a little mix here. So yeah, basically this is another section. She just finished the teleporting. Oh no, I deleted them. There we go. Just finished teleporting, and now it's kind of she's in a place now where she's in like a garden, and she's not sure if she's going to teleport again. She's kind of nervous. She's on edge. That's why it's a little kind of builds back up,
Me do this.
I am ordering you to stop.
Yeah. So let's play that part again with audio.
You can't always be here. Let me do this.
I am ordering you to stop. We're out of time.
This is where I introduce fade away. Okay, so this sound, eerie dissonance. This kind of reminds me of the guy she's talking to. It's this just kind of like it's just an uncomfortable feeling, uncomfortable sound coming from this. So yeah, so that's kind of supposed to represent like her fears and that guy kind of just constantly in her head. And then once we get to fade away is supposed to kind of more represent her optimism and her trying to kind of just be independent and self-sufficient in this situation. So like when you hear them competing at some points, you hear kind of both sounds playing at the same time. And then yeah, let's see here. Yeah, right here. So this is like Gill's sound, so to speak, I guess, which you don't hear till later. It's kind of her evolved sound. It's her as she's kind of evolving through this whole experience. And the eerie dissonance is kind of like constantly in her ear, It's like it's the sound that's just kind of constantly bothering her the whole film. And there, we see that right there. That's a little bit of a pitch bend down because at this point she's really not in a good place. And this scene right here is one of my favorite scenes of the whole thing. It's the aquarium scene. I love the imagery in this scene, and it was so easy to score this. This was my favorite by far scene to score. And even then, there's not much going on, as you can tell. We had a few versions of this. Some with a little more piano, but to be honest, it's like I kind of like the idea of bookending the piano at the beginning and the end. To kind of show her journey. This scene is just more like pretty. It was really nice. It was good to look at, but it wasn't necessarily. It was kind of a nice stop in the adventure to kind of just stop for a second and look at this amazing aquarium. And so that's why I kind of wanted to keep these sounds more simple, more on that like underwater. The high harmonics gives a little bit of that like underwater kind of dolphin, call sound. And she's about to teleport again. Hence the Zimmer drums re-emerging. right, and then basically now we're on the ocean. We're on the beach, and but the thing is, it's kind of crazy because you think she's actually possibly back where she was at the beginning. Because at the beginning of the movie, it's kind of the same wet sand look. So when you see her come back on this, like teleport back, you're like, oh, great, she's back where she was at the beginning. But then you realize, oh no, she's not in the desert. She's actually by the ocean, you know. Um, and it's like at this point, her machine, her teleportation machine's breaking down, so she can't use it anymore. So she's basically stuck, but she's stuck in a place where she wants to be. She's basically finally free from this guy, this voice in her head, So, and the suit's not holding her back anymore. It's not keeping her caved in. I like the idea too of kind of opening it up as this part progresses. So like right now it's kind of more. It's still kind of closed up. It's still kind of closed, and then you just heard the suit, the helmet come off right there, and that's when I bring in the piano and I try to kind of open things up musically once she opens takes the helmet off, because that's kind of her moment of, freedom. Her moment of just, I escaped. It's the moment in Shawshank where he looks up and at the rain. So. And that's about it. There we go. If you have any questions, you guys can contact me about this. I'm at Musicman at MUZIKM4N on all platforms. I definitely enjoyed showing you guys the breakdown of the score. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Definitely go support Gill, go support Kyrian, all that good stuff. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching this. Have a good one.